He was 29th in Trois-Rivières. It's our first caution. It'll bunch the field. And Bull right behind Ranger. Beautiful blue skies. Green flag for the Napa Autopro 100. Andrew Ranger on pole. J.R. Fitzpatrick taking advantage of fresh 4 tires that he was awarded after that spin in practice, but then he cooked it into the final hairpin and was forced to fall back, and then charging up, he hits the Armco coming out of 3 and 4. Andrew Ranger has been your leader right from the green flag as we welcome you back to Montreal. The Napa Autopro 100. As they're bunched up, we've had 1 yellow flag. Ray Courtemanche Jr. from Montreal bringing out the yellow flag. The lights are out now on the pace car, and this bunch up, is this the chance now for Bowles on Ranger?
This is a great opportunity for Bowles. Ranger was out there a long ways. Bowles fights his way to second place. Now they're going to start nose to tail. Kerry Mix on the outside of the front row.
And that is because we go back to the last fully completed lap, not the entire, they call it the snake, the entire field of cars. The entire snake had not gone across the start-finish line. And of course, Kerry Mix had lost 2 spots over the course of that last lap. He's lucky he gets those spots back.
Yeah, those of you who watch Formula One from Montreal know that they have 3 segments, timing segments. Here there is only one in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, and that's at the start-finish line. Todd?
Bill Rouse called it exactly right, fellas, that yes, Kerry Mix in the 02 car does have a bit of an overheating issue, according to his crew chief, Ray McCaughey. They've had him turn off some of the fans and blowers in the car. They hope that'll help. Also, if he can get out front and get clean air, that might help a little bit, too.
You shouldn't say that. Bill's our hero. I know. But you make the point, because this is unlike paper that you can maybe get a knock off by getting close. You can't do that.
Well, the grass gets embedded in the screening, and it's really hard to suck it back out. If under caution, what might have happened going across the rumble strips will shake it out. And as you see on the front of the 02, it looks like he shook it out.
Here we go. Yellow flag still out. Looking for the green now. Andrew Ranger looking for the green now. Andrew Ranger. Oh, we have at the back the number 85, Michel Pilon, has spun, trying to put the power down, and it looks like, have they gone racing? The green is out, and sure they do. Pilon gets it sorted out. Mix is right behind Ranger. There is Bowles, and then trying to dart inside. Look at, trying to come up through the middle. Alex Tagliani.
Everybody single filed at least through the top 5 or 6 cars, and then we go side by side with the 2 Dumoulin brothers. The 04 of Dumoulin then ducking to the inside. He's made up a lot, restarting in 11th, and he's already alongside the 47 of LP Dumoulin, who restarted 7th.
It's looking a lot like the first start of the race. You got the 27, the 02, then the 11 of Bowles. Whoa, a lot of smoke flying in turn 3 and 4.
Some damage to the 8 car of Don Thompson Jr. in the Farmer's Feet family's Dodge, and it just appears to be body damage. You see the fender flapping on that Dodge.
Boy, Scott Steckley trying to find some room as they come under the bridge into 8 and 9, and we're heading down to the hairpin again, and it's Ranger leading Mix.
Andrew Ranger continues to lay it on the field. Kerry Mix is able to stay with him right now in the short term until the tires get hot, then we'll see who the master is.
Looking back from Bowles to Tagliani.
Listen to Bowles go up through the gearbox. Gives you a pretty good indication how well these things shift. The motor barely changes pitch.
And Alex Tagliani, of course, sat on the pole at this year's Indy 500 in an open-wheel car, but he's no slouch in these full-fendered race cars. He's been on the pole here at Montreal in the past. He's actually got a victory at the Edmonton road course race a few years ago, so he can get it done.
Boy, and Billy, coming through that final chicane over those teeth, it unsettles the car. I'm surprised not more cars find the outside wall as we go through the Senna S, and we have another caution, our second of the race.
Well, Vic, you're right. We can use the curbs to change how the car handles. You know, you can unload the right rear, you can unload the left rear, depending where you put your front tire. But also, some of them can be a little sharp, and they can tear the inside bead off the tire.
And it is the 44 of Jared Whistle, the reason for the caution. He started this race in the 24th position. all the way from Calgary, Alberta, so he'll be disappointed with this run. Loves racing in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on these road courses, but started his first oval races when the Tour went out west. And it looks like we got problems on the 66 Robin Baca window brace appears to be flapping. Here's what's happened.
Well, down into the hairpin, he gets tagged by the 55, shoves him out into the Armco, and then he gets wagged by another car on the way through.
Dexter Stacey, the 18-year-old from Kanawaki, one of the 15 Quebec drivers in this record field to start of 37. And it's going to take a moment to get him fired up and get him off course. Jared Whistle brings out our second yellow here in Montreal. NASCAR Canadian Tire Series races are on road and street circuits. This season there have been 3 different winners at 4 distinctively diverse tracks. On the runways of Circuit Icar, it was the veteran Robin Buck who was cleared for the win at this Montreal area airport facility. Next up, the Castro kid DJ Kennington drove to Mosport International Raceway's winner circle using patience and a lot of Mopar muscle. In Toronto, Andrew Ranger outpaced the 33-car field. The 2-time champion claimed his second Toronto crown in as many years. And then our last race in Trois-Rivières, the clouds opened, the rain came, 3 different drivers led the GP3 R100, but in the end it was Robin Buck who smoothly outpaced the field to capture his second win of the 2011 season. But there are problems for Robin Buck. Here in Montreal, a brace on the rear window has come undone, and the crew decided best way to fix it is just to yank it off. But you can't do that, Todd.
Robin Buck has made another stop along pit road as documented. It is for a safety issue, and NASCAR has required them to rivet that safety brace back in. So they're doing it. But on these long pace laps, they should have plenty of time to get that done, get him back out. It'll be a long charge for Robin Buck. Not sure that he's going to be a winner like he was a couple of weeks ago at Three Rivers, fellas.
And that's a bad break for him when you think, I mean, he would have been a favorite here.
Absolutely. He was in the hunt. He was sitting back. We documented that he had trouble in qualifying, but 2 unnecessary pit stops to re-rivet that window brace in is going to knock him out of contention.
Now the lights have gone out. We'll go racing again. Andrew Ranger continues to lead. Kerry Mix, Bowles, Tagliani. Of course, several of the drivers will do double duty. They'll move right over to the nationwide race that you will see here on TSN. There they are. Now the only one that did not qualify is JF Dumoulin. So when you take a look at all the drivers in now, Bowles, of course, being an American. But when you look at the Canadians in that field, you've got those drivers, as well as Ron Fellows, Jacques Villeneuve, Patrick Carpentier, and Marie-Ève Dufault. We're ready to go racing again. It's a 23-lap race, the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN, the final road race of the season, and will Mix now decide to mix it up with Andrew Ranger.
Well, it's still a little early to get roughhousing, but you know what? You got to get the nose out front to get any kind of shot at winning here. And Mixie up through the gearbox. He's got to get down in the braking zone. Here we are, side by side. Ranger in the preferred lane.
Oh, he's got that line and trying to dance to the outside. And look at coming on the inside. Tagliani getting a little wide and trying to push his way up. Jeff Lapsovich.
And Tagliani tagged the back bumper of the 0-2 of Kerry Mix, and that cost Mix huge. Look at the gap now between Andrew Ranger, your later in the 27 and the 0-2 of Mix.
Oh, there's Lapsovich trying to go inside Bowles.
Bowles got tagged in the door at the same time that the 12 was getting into the 0-2. He got into the door of the 11 and shuffled him out. Now Bowles had to hustle to get the spot, but there's the 84, J.R. Fitzpatrick. He's been all over this racetrack, and now he's back in the hunt.
Now, you know J.R. Fitzpatrick can get around this racetrack. He's won here in the past, qualifying in the 21st position for that nationwide race, which is coming up later on today.
Aren't you impressed, though, Billy, just by the way Ranger, yes, he's got that inside line. Yes, it's the preferred line, but it's the way he gets the power down. As you say, he's just so smooth.
He's a wheel man. I'm telling you, I talked to a couple of our drivers, and they say, Billy, what do you see? And I'll tell you what I see is Ranger is able to get straight and deep into the braking zones and gets the car slowed down before he turns it in, and that's where you make up the time.
Steckley, our points leader, J.R. Fitzpatrick getting inside on him, Todd.
a little bit more on what Billy's talking about with Andrew Ranger getting the power down. I had a good talk with him this morning about that, and he said a lot of it comes from what he learned during his open wheel racing years, especially on this track, a track he really likes with long sweeping corners where you're getting on the power and powering through the corners. He's found that his open wheel experience really helps him out.
Well, he's certainly proven that, Todd. I'll tell you, he's stretched it out to 6 car lengths already over the 0-2.
And Kerry Mick's trying everything he can to get every little bit out of that car as John Ferrano battles with his teammate, the 42 of Peter Kloot. They're side by side into turn number 1. Ferrano's going to come out on top, but Kerry Mick is dancing under the brakes in that 0-2.
John Ferrano was up as high as 5. You just say the tires are gone away now. He's down to 9.
Well, he got the goodie out of him. He had a whale of a qualifying effort. He does have experience here, but these are the big, heavy stock cars, and these guys around him are very experienced.
Steckley chasing down Fitzpatrick. Steckley, our current points leader. DJ Kennington, who is 47 points back in the championship race, is currently in 10th.
Yeah, Kennington needs to keep that 22 car in sight. He lost a little bit of points on Scott Steckley in Trois-Rivières. They came into that race with a 20-point margin, left with 47 in favor of Scott Steckley. So Kennington really needs a good effort. There's not that many races left this season, so he has to start chipping away at that point lead if he wants to repeat as NASCAR Canadian Tire Series champion.
Ranger, Mix, Tagliani, Bowles, they are your top 4, and we haven't seen them yet put a little bit of a fender to each other. We're expecting that. We always get that here in Montreal. Only have to think back to last year, but first of all, you got to get close enough to Ranger to do it.
Absolutely. To put the bumper to him, you have to be in the same zip code. Right now, he's sitting pretty good. He was 6-7 car lengths ahead. Now we're about 4. Mix is really battling, but he's got that 12 car of Tagliani right there. The smart guy right now might be Bowles, just sitting there watching the show. He could be second. With one slip, he could be second rather than fourth.
Riding along with Jason Bowles, and up in front is Alex Tagliani. And Tagliani, of course, will be on the front row, an all-Canadian, an all-Penske front row for the nationwide race. Jacques Villeneuve is on the pole for the very first time here at the circuit named after his father.
Well, Villeneuve's got something to prove. That last time out in the 22 car didn't quite go as planned, so he's got the faith of Roger Penske one more time, and he's got to prove it to him today.
And if you're watching the ticker across the top of your screen and wondering where Robin Buck, where Don Thompson Jr. went, they both had to make pit stops during that last caution. Robin Buck is up to 22nd now, Don Thompson Jr. 25th. Those two drivers finished 2nd and 3rd here last year, so a little bit of a surprise to see them so far back.
Well, there's still 9 laps to go. This is just a sprint race, 23 laps. You really can't save anything, but yet we talk about saving brakes, saving tires. The only one you really save here is brakes, because you got to be able to stop the race car to win.
And when we ride along with Bowles, remember too, he comes out of that KNN West Series. Oh, he's trying to go inside, trying to go on Mix. He's got him. He's got him. Moving up is Jason Bowles.
That hole was opened by the 12 car of Alex Tagliani, who moved into 2nd position. And Jason Bowles said, hey, the hole's there. I'm going to fill it. My fuel, Dr. Dodge. And he did just that.
Wow, great job there. You know, Mitzi was very respectful. He's seen that 12 coming down the inside, and you know what? Don't close the door. 9 laps to go. I'm the farthest up guy in the points championship. Why mess it up?
And we have another caution.
And Jason, your 2nd place in points, DJ Kennington, and the Castrol Edge Dodge is involved. You see the passenger side door panel banged in on that Dodge Challenger, and the 3 car of Jason Hathaway also involved.
And this is exactly the scenario for the series regulars that they hate. They want to survive these races to get to the ovals, and this is really a kick to DJ Kennington.
And it's really a kick, too. You see another car smoking as he makes his way down the back straightaway. But with so many cars in this field, if you do not finish in this race, that's Joey McComb in the Espoir Dodge. That's a heartbreak for that team. They had a bad race at the Toronto Indy race, and this one, unfortunately, looks like it'll end up wadded up again.
Well, the 15 of Matthews goes by. We seen him in qualifying yesterday back at the wall. The crew, led by Alex Nagy, worked hard to get the back of that car straightened out and get him in the field today.
So we're under caution again here in Montreal as Joey McComb limps to the garage area. You see Kennington going around, defending series champion.
That's Peter Kloot there in the 42 as well.